Welcome to my new video. So today I decided to have a look at basically the best range classes in patch 7.3 and a little tier 21 comparison. Now, just a side note, it is quite early in the patch and there's going to be class balance changes made in 7.35, so in a couple of months. And tier 21 most likely will change. Now for some classes it probably won't, some classes probably get nerfed or buffed. So keep that in mind, but right now this is an overview of based on the damage meters, based on the tier 21 comparisons, what are the best classes to play if you're looking to reroll, if you're looking actually to pick different spec, and things like that. So actually looking at the damage meters for Tomb of Sargeras, now you have to also keep in mind that in Antorus raid, it might be different kind of fights, with the sustained AoE, burst AoE, stacked cleave, and things like that. But right now, the best, let's go for this AoE classes, the best overall AoE classes, no matter stacked or cleave. So we're talking about fights like Demonic Inquisition where adds go everywhere, and we're talking to fights like Desolate Host, like inside of the Spirit Realm, where adds are very close to each other. The best AoE classes are Balanced Druid, Affliction Warlock, and Shadow Priest. These three classes have an amazing cleave AoE, even when adds are stacked or when adds are really spread. So like I said, Demonic Inquisition where adds all over the place, Balanced Druid with Starfall, Affliction Warlock with the dots, Shadow Priest with the dots. It is insane how much damage they do. They do an amazing amount of sustained AoE damage. So actually first looking at the Balanced Druid tier 21. Tier 21 is actually not looking very good at all. It's looking like a DPS decrease. We have to see if that's going to change, but tier 21 is really not looking that great for Balanced Druids at the moment, so there's a chance that they might fall down. Now Priest tier 20 is pretty good for single target, absolutely OP for AoE fights. So for tier 20 is going to be very strong for Shadow Priest if the fights are going to be encouraging AoE, if there's going to be spread AoE, if there's going to be cleaved AoE, and if Shadow Priest with tier 21 is going to be really great. Now for a single target, it seems that tier 21 is very similar to tier 20 in terms of single target damage. So Shadow Priests are only looking to actually go up in damage in Antorus raid, especially for AoE fights. Now if you actually look at Affliction Warlocks, Affliction Warlock tier 20, I'm not actually completely sure exactly how it's going to sim. It's probably too early to actually determine it. But like I said, Affliction Warlocks are doing really well in sustained spread AoE. Now let's look at AoE fights where there is actually, I actually did include a couple of range classes for AoE fights with people where the mobs are stacked. Where the mobs are stacked, there's a couple of more classes that come into play. So for fights like Desolate Host, for fights like Mr. Sajin, where the adds are usually going to be close to the boss, and you can actually like things like chain lightning and things like that. So you see classes like Elemental Shamans coming in there, Demonology Warlocks and Fire Mages coming into this slot for the AoE classes. Only for stack though. If the adds are spread out, their damage is really going to fall. So you have, for stack fights, you have Elemental Shamans. Now Elemental Shaman tier 21 is very single target focused, and it's possibly going to be a loss over tier 20 for AoE fights. So we have to see how Elemental Shamans are going to, they're most likely their single target is going to go way up because their single target is not that great at the moment. So with tier 21, single target is most likely gonna go up. Demonology Warlocks are really strong actually for single target and really strong for stacked AoE damage. For Demonology Warlocks, I actually didn't find the exact numbers for tier 21, but Demonology is actually looking pretty strong. If I actually go and cover all of the Warlock specs, all of the Warlock specs are actually really quite good. Like I said, Affliction Warlocks are really good for spread AoE and pretty good for single target. Demonology Warlock single target is stronger than Affliction. Demonology Warlock cleave grouped AoE is very strong, but the spread AoE is very weak compared to what Affliction Warlocks can do. And Destruction Warlocks are similar to Affliction Warlocks in a way. Destruction Warlock single target seems to be a bit higher, or something very similar to it. But like I said, for cleaved stacked AoE, elemental shamans, demonology warlocks, and fire mages. Now, I didn't cover the fire mage tier 21. Fire mage tier 21 is looking insane. It's probably the biggest. Fire mage is probably, if it's not gonna, it's probably going to be nerfed. Let's be realistic here. It's probably going to be nerfed, but if it's not going to be nerfed, fire mage has probably got the best tier 21, especially if you combine it with kindling talent and the legendary gloves. You will have insane AoE damage as a fire mage with tier 21 in Antorus raid. We have to see how it's gonna pan out, but right now fire mage tier 21 is looking like one of the strongest tiers that range classes got. So now we covered the AoE, we covered the stacked grouped AoE, we covered the spread AoE. Overall, the winners for all of those probably is, like I said, balanced druids, affliction warlocks, and shadow priests, because they can do both really well. Now let's look at the single target. For single target, you have Marksmanship Hunters, you have Frost Mages, and you have Demonology Warlocks. These are probably the top 3 range classes for single target. Marksmanship Hunter tier 21 is looking really bad. So let's hope it's gonna change for the Marksmanship Hunters, but it's looking really bad at the moment. So maybe in 7.3 it's gonna be changed. Marksmanship Hunters themselves can actually do pretty good sustained AoE, very good single target. I'm not even gonna cover Beast Mastery at the moment because Beast Mastery just falls. Beast Mastery right now is good. It's supposed to be a single target spec, but it just falls behind everything what a Marksmanship Hunter can do, at least in raid scenarios. So I'm not really going to be covering that. I'm not covering the survival hunters as well because they're a melee class. Let's look at Frost Mages. So Frost Mage tier 21 is looking to be pretty decent. Some people consider it to be a boring tier just because it doesn't create a lot of involvement in the rotation. But that's a personal opinion. But it's looking like a decent spec. Decent tier. Frost Mages are very good at single target. It's one of the best. It's a single target spec. Frost Mage is a single target spec. Fire Mage is an AoE spec that's going to be very good if tier 21 is going to stick. Now in here you also have Demonology Warlocks. Demonology Warlocks seem to have a very strong, at least in Tomb of Sargeras, a very strong single target damage and a very strong stacked AoE damage as well. So just comparing the Warlock specs, Demonology Warlock seems to go a little ahead, but that's just based on the numbers. We still have to see how the tier 21 pans out as well. But like I said, Marksmanship Hunters, Frost Mages, and Demonology Warlocks are the winners of the single target spec. In single target, you kind of see balanced druids and shadow priests falling down. They're not really up there. But like I said, little summary of the video: best AoE, cleaved or spread, balanced druids, affliction warlocks, shadow priests. Best single target, Marksmanship Hunters, Frost Mages, and Demonology Warlocks. And if you really want to go into detail for the classes that are good at stacked AoE, elemental shamans, Demonology Warlocks, and fire mages come in with the boomkins, affliction warlocks, and shadow priests. So hopefully this was a decent overview of what the range classes are looking in 7.3, or what will they look in 7.35 with the tier changes. We'll see if the tiers are going to be changed. We'll see if there's going to be class balance changes in 7.35, which it probably most likely will be because there are a couple of specs that really are down. So you can check this video out. I'll make a new video once the new changes come in. I'll evaluate all the other classes with the changes that are going to be happening. But thank you for watching this little video, and I'll see you in my next little guide.